Night settles over the abandoned shepherd. The kind of cold, metallic silence that makes every echo sound like a threat. Containers rise like giant tombstones, stacked in union rows, blocking out most of the moonlight. A lone figure moves between them, Agent Rylan Cross, a former covert operative thought to be dead by nearly everyone who once knew him. His boots land quietly on the wet pavement, each step deliberate. He keeps one hand wrapped around the grip of a suppressed pistol and the other lightly touching the radio in his ear even though it hasn't worked since the signal went dark. A distant clatter snaps through the stillness. Rylan freezes. The sound comes again, summiting metal being dragged across as concrete. He lowers his body and slips behind a container, breath steady, eyes sharp. His memory replays the intel, a missing scientist, an intercepted signal, and a warning that a private militia has been operating in the area. None of it explains why the shepherd feels wrong, heavier than danger, like a trap that has been waiting specifically for him. A faint blue glow spills from a warehouse ahead. Rylan creeps closer, staying low, boots avoiding puddles. Through a crack in the rusted wall, he glimpses silhouettes, 4 men armed with rifles, passing as to guarding something important. One of them checks a tablet showing a live feed of security cameras. The central feed depicts a small room and, inside it, a man tied to a chair. The missing scientist, he's still alive. Rylan exhales slowly, calculating. The men inside are disciplined, not the sloppy mercenary type. He notices matching patches on their shoulders, a black serpent coiled around a sword. The emblem tightens something in Rylan's chest. He's seen it before, years ago, right before the mission that cost him everything. Whoever these men are, they aren't just here for ransom. They're part of a larger network, one he believed he dismantled long ago. The warehouse door creaks open. A larger figure steps out, broad-shouldered, moving with the calm authority of someone used to being feared. Rylan recognizes him instantly. Mason Creed, once a member of Rylan's team. Now a ghost who resurfaced on the wrong side of every line. Creed lights a cigarette, the flame reflecting in the puddle at Rylan's feet. He speaks into his cameras, voice cold and buried. The target's extraction is in 20 minutes. IF Cross shows up, shoot to kill. No hesitation. Rylan tightens his grip on the pistol. His blood becomes stone in his lungs. This wasn't just a ransom operation. This was bait. And he stepped right into it. Before he can retreat, a spotlight snaps on overhead. The inner shepherd explodes in white light. A loudspeaker crackles. Creed's voice echoes, amused. Welcome back from the dead, Rylan. Rylan flings himself behind a stack of crates as bullets tear through the air, slicing into metal, sending sparks in every direction. The shepherd erupts into chaos, but Rylan's movements remain precise, almost surgical. He fires 2 quick shots, dropping the nearest attackers, but dozens more flat from the shadows. The realization hits him hard. He is outnumbered, outgunned, and exactly where Creed wants him. But the scientist is still alive. And Rylan has survived worse. He reloads, wipes a streak of blood from his cheek, and whispers to himself, "Season is not over yet." Rylan sprints between the towering stacks of containers as gunfire ricochets around him, each shot carving bright sparks off the metal walls. The shepherd becomes a mass of shifting shadows and deadly angles. He ducks behind a forklift and reloads, listening, counting footsteps, voices, the metallic clinks of rifles being repositioned. They are surrounding him, but not recklessly. Creed trained them well. A grenade clatters nearby. Rylan reacts on instinct, sliding across the wet ground and diving behind a container just as the explosion rips through the forklift, flipping it onto its side in a shriek of twisting steel. The blast wave rattles his bones. Dust and smoke flood the air. He coughs, blinking through the haze, and forces himself to move before the militia closes in on his last position. A shadow appears at the corner of his vision. Rylan pivots, tackling the soldier to the ground. Their struggle is silent and violent, elbows, knees, and fists connecting with precision, and Rylan snaps the rifle away, striking the man unconscious with the butt. He drags the body behind a crate and takes the soldier's comb earpiece, sliding it into his own ear. Static. Then the low murmur of coordinated voices. Squad 3, sweep left. He is heading toward the docks. Another voice responds, Creed wants him alive, if possible. He is mine. Rylan recognizes that voice. Kyle Vosses. Creed is second in command, a man with a reputation for breaking the unbreakable. Rylan tightens his jaw. He can't afford a direct encounter, yet. He moves toward the warehouse with the blue glow, staying low, using the shadows as cover. At the back of the structure, he finds a rusted maintenance hatch. The hinges scream softly as he forces it open just enough to slip inside. The interior is dim, lit by scattered industrial lamps humming with unstable electricity. Crates tower overhead, casting jagged silhouettes across the concrete floor. The scent of oil and cold metal fills the air. Ahead, raised voices echo from the central room. Rylan edges forward, careful to avoid the patches of shattered glass and discarded chains that litter the ground. When he reaches the doorway, he peeks inside. The scientist sits tied to the chair, pale but awake, gagged and trembling. Two guards stand nearby, checking their weapons. A monitor on the wall displays a countdown, 13 minutes until extraction. Whatever extraction means, it isn't friendly. Rylan takes a slow breath, studying the room, mapping angles. The nearest guard is positioned with his back turned, the other stands by the door, rifle ready. He can take them, but he needs to do it before it raises an alarm. Before he moves, a cold click touches the back of his skull. A gun. Call's voice comes low and amused behind him. You're getting predictable, Cross. Rylan's muscles stiffen, but he doesn't raise his hands. He listens, calculating. Kyle stands close, too close. Heavy boots, confident stance. Overconfident. Rylan tilts his eyes just enough to catch a reflection in a metal panel on the wall. Call's position is clear. Rylan's heartbeat steadies. Kyle presses the muzzle harder. Creed wants your union to be special. I'm supposed to bring you in breathing, but honestly, I've never been great at following rules. Rylan reacts faster than Kyle expects, twisting, knocking the gun aside, and driving an elbow into Call's ribs. The larger man barely flinches. He streaks back, sending Rylan stumbling into a crate hard enough to rattle its metal frame. The sound alerts the guards inside. Kyle cracks his knuckles. Let's see if the legend still got it. Rylan wipes blood from his lip and drops into a fighting stance. Kyle charges. The room erupts into chaos, grunts, impacts, creates shuddering under the force of blows. Rylan blocks a swing, counters with a sharp strike to Call's throat, but the man barely slows. Their fight crashes through the doorway, sending one of the guards sprawling. The second guard raises his rifle, but Rylan grabs Kyle and pivots, using him as a shield. Bullets tear into Call's armor as Rylan kicks the guard into a metal table, knocking him out cold. Kyle staggers, fury burning in his eyes. Rylan doesn't give him time to recover. He hits him with a combination of blows, jaw, ribs, K&E, finally slamming Call's head into a steel beam. Kyle collapses, unconscious. Breathing hard, Rylan cuts the scientist free. Can you walk? The man nods weakly. Rylan hoists him to his feet. We've got 10 minutes before this place becomes a war zone. The building trembles as more soldiers flood the yard outside. Rylan grips the scientist's arm, guiding him through the shadows. This just become extraction, he mutters. Our extraction. Rylan moves quickly, guiding the scientist through the narrow service corridor behind the warehouse. The passage is dim, lit only by flickering bulbs that cast long, nervous shadows across the concrete walls. Every few steps, the building shudders under the impact of boots and gunfire echoing outside. The militia is sweeping the shepherd faster than he expected. Creed isn't wasting time. The scientist stumbles, grabbing Rylan's shoulder for balance. They said they were taking him to the Helix facility, he whispers, voice hoarse. You don't understand what. A sharp whistle cuts through the air. Rylan yanks the scientist down just as a bullet punches a hole through the metal wall where his head had been. He pushes the scientist behind a support beam and fires two controlled shots down the corridor. A soldier collapses, rifle clattering across the floor. More voices approach from the far end, 6, maybe 7. Rylan curses under his breath. Move. They sprint down the hallway until it opens onto a catwalk overlooking the main landing bay. Below, dozens of soldiers are mobilizing around armored trucks, engines rumbling. Floodlights sweep the area. On a raised platform at the center, Creed stands with his arms folded, watching his men with a predator's calm patience. His eyes lift the moment Rylan emerges onto the catwalk. A slow, knowing smile spreads across Creed's face. Rylan pulls the scientist behind a stack of old pallets as Creed lifts a radio to his lips. He's in the East Bay. Do not let him reach the docks. Instantly, soldiers peel off from the trucks and converge toward the stairway leading up to the catwalk. Rylan peers over the railing, gauging the distance to the floor, too high to jump without breaking something. The catwalk ahead leads to a small maintenance elevator, but it is across an open stretch with no cover. The scientist tugs anxiously at Rylan's sleeve. Is there another way out? Working on it, Rylan mutters. He scans the upper rafters, support beams, rusted chains, an overhead crane system used to move shipping containers. An idea sparks. He grabs a loose chain from the crane rail, tests its weight, and hooks the scientist's hands around it. Hold tight. When I swing us across, don't look down. The scientist's eyes widen. That is not receiving. Footsteps pound up the stairs. Rylan doesn't give him time to panic. With one arm around the scientist's waist, he kicks off the railing and launches them both into the open air. The chain whines, metal grinding against metal as they swing across the massive landing bay. Soldiers open fire from below, bullets sparking off steel beams. They slam hard onto the opposite platform, tumbling across it. Pain shoots through Rylan's shoulder, but he shoves the scientist behind a stack of crates before returning fire, picking off two soldiers attempting to flank them. Below, Creed watches the inner maneuver with amusement. Cross, always the showman, Rylan ignores him, dragging the scientist toward the maintenance elevator. He smashes the control panel with his elbow and hot wires the exposed wiring. The elevator doors jolt open with a shriek. Just as they stay inside, a metal groan sounds above. The chain twists, snaps loose, and the overhead crane swings wildly. The inner structure vibrates. Then a heavy touch shakes the platform. Kyle washes, blood running down his forehead, staggering back to consciousness. His voice is a low snarl. Round 2. Rylan shoves the scientist into the elevator. Go, don't stop for anything. Before the scientist can protest, Rylan hits the switch, sending the elevator descending in a rattling, unwind drop. Kyle charges. The catwalk trembles under the impact of his teeth. Rylan backs toward the edge, fists clenched. He can't win a drawn-out fight, not after the last one. Kyle lunges, swinging a massive right hook. Rylan ducks, grabbing a loose pipe from a nearby toolbox, and strikes Kyle across the jaw. The man stumbles, does it but far from down. Rylan hears the elevator hit the ground floor. Good, at least the scientist is moving. Kyle recovers, eyes burning with fury. He grabs Rylan by the throat and lifts him off his feet. Rylan struggles for air as Kyle growls, "You should have stayed dead." With a desperate search, Rylan drafts the pipe into the control panel behind Kyle. Sparks explode. The catwalk lights flicker. Then the platform beneath them shudders, hard. Kyle hesitates, looking down. The bolts anchoring the walkway begin to rip loose. Rylan uses the moment. He kicks off Kyle's chest, flipping backward and rolling toward the exit ladder as the inner section of catwalk collapses. Metal screams as Kyle plummets into the landing bay below, crashing into a stack of crates with a violent explosion of splintered wood. Rylan doesn't wait to see if he's alive. He races down the ladder toward the docks, heart pounding, lungs burning. The extraction clock is down to minute. Soldiers are closing in from every direction. Critics are starting them like chess pieces. And the scientist, Rylan Cross, is out there alone. Rylan sprints into the night, determined to reach him before critics men do.